So, Jeeve, good morning, everybody. I too want to acknowledge all the change agents in the audience this morning, all of you who have taken on the role of mentors and group mentors on behalf of school leadership in Ireland. You have generously given of your time, your expertise and your skills to our newly appointed school leaders. And it is of the utmost importance, not just in relation to the support of our newly appointed colleagues, but also in the strengthening of our system and in the building of strong, independent and empowered school leaders who will bring the system forward in a new way and will ensure more positive outcomes for the teaching and learning in our schools and subsequently for the pupils. The numbers are there behind me. I'm not going to go into them in detail. As you can see, there are 310 mentors trained and another 100 currently training. So in actual fact, if you add that to the mentors and mentees, and particularly the mentees who have engaged this year and last year, over 25% of school leaders in Ireland are currently engaged in mentoring. And that's a very strong message and brings great hope for the future. I also want to acknowledge the work of IPPN and NAPD in relation to the group mentoring initiative, which is serving those newly appointed principals on their second year in the role and which will continue and open to all principals in that position from next September. Fantastic collaborative work has been done on that with IPPN and NAPD, and I'd particularly like to acknowledge the work of Angela Lynch and her team in the IPPN support office. Now, I don't need to tell you how much of a success story the coaching service is. It's overwhelmingly good in relation to feedback, and it has shown considerable vision from the Minister and his department. This is a wonderful support that over 350 principals have already engaged in. And I'm urging you this morning that if you're not there yet, don't even think about it. Your colleagues, those 350 who have engaged, are in so many different contexts of schools, so many different sizes of schools, and they say it's simply wonderful, go for it. So go to the CSL website, choose a coach in your area and avail of this service. It's 100% confidential. The other statistics are on the screen, but what's interesting is that 80% of those people who have already engaged have said that it is critical to their professional learning, and 73% can see the benefit of a coaching culture in school. So what's important for us now is to ensure that this support remains there for school leaders into the future. As an overarching body, CSL is very concerned with bringing all the learning together and linking up the system. We have two baseline supports that we actually base our work on a daily basis on. One of them is the Looking at Our School 2016 document, which presents the Quality Framework for Teaching and Learning, followed by the Quality Framework for Leadership and Management. As you all already know, this is what is being used by our inspectorate for all types of external evaluations in your schools, and it is the next step in school self-evaluation. Then there's the digital framework, which absolutely puts the emphasis on how important the integration of ICT is into our learning in schools and into professional learning. These supports ensure targeted, innovative and high-quality professional learning for our pupils and teachers, and are constantly used as our baseline in our daily work. And Mary has already mentioned that word, collaboration. And the Thinking Together, it's a direct quote from the OECD 2016 publication, which is called How a School Can Be a Learning Organisation. We are already doing the collaboration in our schools. We are helping our teachers to work together to address goals and everything literally in our schools, from how to deal with individual children to how to enhance the curriculum and how to make our schools a better place for everyone who works there and everyone who learns there, but most particularly our pupils. We mentioned yesterday in our seminar that we are now looking at a new way of expanding our learning. We're looking at schools locally, or perhaps schools of the same context as yours, which perhaps are not so local. But that learning from school to school is a new direction that we are asking you to look at and to consider the learning opportunities from into the future. Primary schools are well known as the champions of local communities. And now we're asking you to extend that a little bit further and perhaps look at your school as the champion of the local business enterprise or the non-educational setting. One initiative that I would like to mention is Partnership Schools, which is a partnership project between IPPN and the National Parents' Council. It brings together local business representatives with your parents, teachers, students and support staff to look at your plan Scola and to enhance it in a practical way. Leadership in other places is important to our leadership as school leaders. And Anya Lynch, the CEO of the National Parents' Council, is with us today. She'd be delighted to discuss this with you after this, or contact the National Parents' Council if you would like further information on that. All the research tells us that we should look outside ourselves to enhance what we're doing in our schools. So with that, I'm asking you to really consider the supports in our system, to consider your professional organisation, your union, your management body, your support services, the PDST and the NIPT, and to reflect their help and their learning positively in your school afterwards. That's really important for the people who may be coming behind us as school leaders. And I can't leave this piece without mentioning the IPPN county networks, such a wonderful source of learning, collegiality, friendship, support on your local doorstep. If you haven't engaged, please do. If you've stopped engaging, go back and shape those county networks to ensure that you're getting what you need from that collegiality and support. And finally, I want to mention the Professional Diploma in School Leadership, which has already been mentioned. I want to remind you that it's blended learning. You already know that it comes from a consortium of UL, NUIG and UCD. And we were delighted that it was oversubscribed last year, and presently my numbers needed a slight correction. There are 243 participants on it. The work placement is interesting. Last semester, they based their work on their own school. This semester, they're basing their work on a non-educational setting. And next semester, they're basing it in a school other than their own, which interestingly can be from a different sector. It's based in the 6 education centre regions around the country, and it's practitioner and academic facilitated. And I would like to acknowledge those of you in our audience this morning who have taken on the role of tutors with the PDSL, and we look forward to further engagement with you and the learning from this new initiative for our aspiring colleagues. What I want to say to you, and this is the most important piece, I suppose, about the PDSL, is that we all have an absolute responsibility as school leaders to develop leadership capacity in our school and to bring initiatives and new developments like this to the attention of our school staff as a whole, at a staff meeting, so that they will have the opportunity to think about their leadership into the future. And if they're interested, they will be able to avail of it. So for this, the application process for cohort 2 has just opened. The closing date is March the 30th, and there is a link to the application process on both the CSL and the UL websites. Remember the closing date, and please bring this to the attention of your staff at the next opportunity available to you. And I just want to finish this morning by thanking sincerely Pádraig, David and the IPPN for their consistent support of CSL. In the tripartite with NAPD, who are always there for us, and the TES, we are learning together. And we are confident that this learning will actually result in real, substantial supports for you as school leaders. We know you really need them. We want them to be there for you for always and into the future. I want, on a personal level, to acknowledge Bernie Farrell, who is the principal of St. Louis Girls' School in Monaghan Town, and who has taken over from me so successfully in my secondment. And I want to wish you all a lovely day and an even better night. Gura Maithagh.
Thank you very much, Anna-May. Stay with us just for a couple of